Hi, I'm Tim Faircloth.
And I'm Liu Jones, and I cannot read my lines with these on. Welcome back to the sunny side of cruising, and thank you for joining us once again on Cruise Lounge.
Thanks for joining us and welcome back on board. How nice is it out here today?
Beautiful.
Got the roof open. Beautiful, stunning day at sea.
Time to work on my tan. This is definitely real and not from a bottle.
Oh, hang on, I'll just crank up the studio light.
Oh yeah, there we go. More bronze and glowy now. Yep.
Now look, haven't we got an absolute gem of an episode today? With a guest here in the lounge who can only be described as cruising royalty.
That's right. If you've cruised at all with P&O Australia in the last 12 years, chances are you've been touched, figuratively, not literally, by the much loved and exuberant cruise director, ZOLTINA J.
Absolutely. And look, P&O fans will definitely know who we're talking about. And I'll be chatting with ZOLTINA J today about her amazing life at sea, her career journey, and maybe a few little insights into behind the scenes of life on board.
Well, speaking of behind the scenes, I can see ZOLTINA J just behind the camera, and she's bursting with excitement to come on board. So I'm going to scoot off, and I'll leave this with you, Tim.
Perfect.
I can't wait to hear all of her amazing stories.
Yeah, you can go work on your tan.
I will, yeah. Going to go lay by the pool.
All right, catch you later. Well, welcome back, and please welcome our next guest, the fabulous ZOLTINA J.
Woo! Hi.
Corporate Entertainment Director for P&O Cruises Australia.
That's me.
That is you. And congratulations on that appointment, the relatively new appointment, by the way.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, it was definitely something that was unexpected when I applied for it and got it, decided for a change.
You needed to apply?
I needed to apply.
Okay,
Yeah, it was something that ended up becoming for the role that I was in, and it was made for me to bring consistency across the fleet.
Well, actually, we'll talk about that a bit later, but how nice to be back on board.
Oh, it's wonderful. You have no idea how much I'm craving this right now.
Stunning day.
It is a lovely day, and it's just beautiful being outside. And
I can see it.
I'm glowing.
I know.
It's the sea air.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's the sea air. And it's blowing. Look, ZOLTINA J, can I call you ZJ? No.
Sure.
Okay, ZJ. So look, everybody of course knows ZJ as the cruise director for 12 years?
12 years of P&O.
P&O.
Yep.
And in your new role, so you said you're still going to be on board, but just in a different capacity for those who are wondering.
Yes, yeah. I'm still on board all the ships in the P&O fleet. I bounce around like a cork, like a cork in water, and I bring consistency to the brand. So if you jump on any one of our ships, it will be the same on all the ships. So, and I train the future cruise directors of the fleet as well. And all the stage stuff, try and pass on my knowledge to the next generation.
Well, look, that's important within a brand. You want your cruise P&O, you want to know what to expect on any ship, Brisbane, Sydney, wherever you are, so that's good. So I just wanted to run through, going back to cruise director role. And on board, well, you'd know very well on board that whenever you do a presentation, when the cruise director does a presentation or the captain does a talk about their life at sea, it packs the house out, always. Because people love hearing all the behind the scenes stuff. I know I do.
Yep.
All those little stories. Because what happens at sea gets told here on the cruise lounge. Maybe not. So how does one get to cruise director? And I'll start from the very, very beginning in your life, because we have a little alignment here.
Yeah, we do.
I'm born and raised in Manly, born in Manly Hospital, lived there pretty much all my life, so I am a true local. And you went to a similar school to where my daughter goes. And there's a lot of synergy there between the two of us, especially in your early years of cruising. I know you did 22 cruises on the Fair Star.
I did.
I don't know how many I did, but it was around about that.
Yeah.
And that's how I became, in love with cruising. So if you can start with your journey from Stella, Morris in Manly.
That's right,
to
Stella.
where you are now.
Crikey.
I know it's a very broad question, but let's start from the beginning.
It is. Actually, I'm not as fortunate to be born in Manly Hospital. My brother and sister were.
So you're not a local?
I grew up there, but my brother and sister are probably more bred there than I was. I was Paddington Hospital. So.
Okay.
But no, my parents love cruising, love travelling, and we had an incident, funny enough, on a plane leaving Hawaii. Every year we used to travel for 2 months to the United States for Christmas. and we had an engine problem with the plane, and from that point on my dad said maybe air travel's not for us anymore.
Okay.
And we did a cruise on the Fairstar, and this was our second cruise. First time I was 2 years old on the Fairstar.
Okay.
And
I won't ask you what year that was.
no, I can't remember. And so we went on our first cruise and we fell in love with it. My father loved it, my mum loved it. We did like 3-4 cruises a year as passengers, and I remember walking around the deck seeing the cruise director and going, wow, they're so happy. I want to be that person.
Yeah.
And that's what gave me my love for cruising, was being a passenger, being on the other side of it. So I did that, did the Fairstar, did the Achille Lauro, did 3 cruises on her as well.
Yep.
And then did one cruise on a ship called the Norwegian Star, who was out in Australia for about 18 months. I did one cruise as a passenger on that ship, and then started working on her. She was actually my very first ship as youth staff.
Okay, so how did you actually get that first job? Because I know, look, my daughter will be interested. She's kind of the same as you. She sees the cruise director and thinks that's what I want to be. So how do you actually start from going from passenger to working on board?
I was very lucky. My father, we were on the Fairstar when she broke down off the coast of Vietnam.
Right.
And that was back in 1991, I believe.
Okay. Yep.
And we met a gentleman on there called Graham Gillies, and he is the owner of Grey Boy Entertainment, who P&O uses for all the guest entertainers and production shows and stuff. And he and my father, best mates. He used to see me, we cruised after that cruise, we cruised a few more times on the Fairstar before she left us. And he saw me in a talent show and saw the way I behaved on stage, and he said, you'd be perfect as crew staff. When you're old enough, let me know and I'll get you a job on the ship. And of course at 16 I'm like, I want to get on the job on the ship now, and
right now.
Too young. And
so you recognise talent in you. So were you, at school, did you do drama and all those sort of things, or public speaking?
No, funny enough, I'm dyslexic, and so speaking in front of people at the start was one of the scariest things I've ever done, because they didn't diagnose dyslexia, and so I was just the dumb kid and that couldn't read and couldn't spell. So I was really shy on stage, but I love singing and dancing, and I organised my brother and my sister in a little busking group that we used to do a Manly course. So we won the busking competitions a few years, and we used to do they used to have talent competitions at Warringah Mall when they had the big stage there. Manly Council used to use us for charity work to raise money for the homeless people in Manly. So we formed this little group and used to sing Jackson 5 songs and Queen songs. So we had harmonies and the choreography all down pat. So I never had a fear of stage and being in a group. And then I worked at McDonald's down the Manly as well, and I ended up just nothing wrong with that, but that got me my people skills and not having policies and procedures and wearing a uniform and being on time and learning to run a team as well. And that was that got me my footy, and I always say McDonald's is the reason why I'm here, because I was able to get that learning to work with people, working for people, and even though you're
structure that shipboard life.
That's it. Like, even though you're only seeing the people for a brief time to give them your order, give them their order, you got to be nice and pleasant. You don't want to have bad service, and that's what got me here. So it's one of those things. I was very lucky, but I did the right channels to get to cruising.
Look, you make your own luck. And one of my favourite sayings at the moment is that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So, if you give something a shot, kind of like this, then, never miss it.
No, that's true. Very true, yep.
So then you, from that role on Norwegian, how did the step up to where you are now?
Well, I started off as youth staff. I was actually team director on board the ship, and then I moved over to entertainment staff.
Sorry, how old were you when you were team director?
20.
Okay.
20, I started off at 20,
So that sounds like an ideal job.
It was great. It was great, but I used to always look at the cruise staff and go, I want to play with the big kids.
Oh, really?
I like the teens, but I want to play with the big kids. I want to entertain them. So finally a position opened up for that, and I was entertainment staff on there. Absolutely loved it. It was the dream. It was the absolute dream. And then the ship ended up leaving Australian waters, and I had like a month or so in Sydney. Then the call came with P&O on the Pacific Sky, and I jumped on there again as youth staff only for 2 cruises, and then moved over as entertainment staff on there for 2 contracts.
Okay.
Then after that,
Yes.
I moved over to photography.
Yes, I did read this. So the photographer, not like what I do, which is the brochures, the websites, you're the actual onboard, you know, the happy snaps.
Yep.
Welcome aboard. That
Yep.
kind of stuff.
Can't put a price on your memories.
Was that the line, is it?
That was it. Well, it's true though, right?
Yeah, it is true.
It's true.
Yeah, yeah. That's a tough job.
It was the hardest I've ever worked, I think, in my entire life still today.
I see those guys. I work alongside those guys or girls, and yeah, it's not easy.
It's not, and but it was a great job again. It was something different. I've never picked up a proper camera before. We had to buy our own rig, so we got the whole thing. I was a natural at it, which was great.
Yep.
And I really enjoyed that. I did that for a year, and then decided, I'm like, I've done my time in Australia. It's time to look elsewhere. I love being cruise staff.
Yep.
I wanted to go back to that. So then I moved over to the States and worked for Holland America.
Okay.
And that was where it all progressed quite quickly. That was really when I made up my mind. I want to really give this a go now. I've done the time of enjoying life as a single young person, and now I really want to make a career of it. So I went over to Holland.
Serious.
Oh,
It's a serious cruise line.
It's a serious cruise line. I was very much, they were like, whoa, this Aussie chick, whoa, she's in your face.
Yeah.
So, but I learnt to calm down a bit, and I went very quickly over there. I was cruise staff for 3 months, and towards the end of my contract, they promoted me to assistant cruise director, which was called at the time, extended on that cruise, and then the next contract I was assistant cruise director and got promoted to cruise director and moved over to the Staten Dam, which was Pacific Eden.
Yeah.
And I was over there. I was the youngest female cruise director the company had at the time. I don't know any more about it now, but
How old were you then?
I was 23 when they told me, and I was
That is
24 when
young,
I took over.
Especially on that brand.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very young.
Okay. And where were you based? In Caribbean, or you were on the
I
West
was,
Coast?
when I first took over, I was actually out of Alaska.
Yeah.
And then they moved me over to the Zida Dam over in the Caribbean. And then I was on the Veen Dam in the Caribbean as well.
Okay. You know all the proper pronunciations. I've been saying them wrong all these years. I think Staten Dam's the only one I got right.
And then it all changed from there.
Yep.
Because then I met someone.
Okay.
And then
Do tell.
I met a magician on board the Veen Dam. 6 weeks later, we got engaged.
Wow. And you worked then as
a magician's
his
assistant.
assistant.
Yeah, for 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah, jumping
Wow.
out of boxes.
Getting cut in
Ta-da!
half and all that kind of stuff.
Yep, got stabbed literally once before. That never happened again.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. There's.
So those things that go in the boxes, it's.
Oh, yeah.
Well, don't give away the secrets.
No,
but
they do. They go in
get-
the. Oh, yeah. I've got battle scars to prove it. Yeah,
There you go.
they went in wrong places, and I wasn't in the right spot, or he messed up, and
Yeah. Okay. So from magician assistant to now.
Yeah, it's working back to P&O. So I ended up, I was in the UK, I was living over there, and I've always kept looking back. Always wanted to go back to cruise director. It was my love. It was my first love. And there was in one of the newspapers in England, The Stage, I used to get that I was going for, applying for managers of resorts in the UK and holiday parks and stuff. And I got the newspaper one day and there was this ad cut out of it. So the page wasn't taken out, but the ad was cut out. And I said to my fiance at the time, I'm like, where's this ad? And he goes, oh, they're saving money. He was trying to be funny. He says, saving money. I said, where is it? He goes, no, they're saving money. I went, you want to keep the ad, you can keep the ad, that's fine. 3 days later, he gave it to me. He was going to hold it from me, and he gave it to me. He says, I can't let you not see this.
Why was he holding it from you?
He knew that if I applied for the job,
You were gone.
I was gone.
Yeah, okay.
He knew. So he kept it as a joke, but he really wanted to hold on to it. Anyway, ad said looking for cruise directors for P&O Australia. I'm like, wonderful. So I applied, hadn't heard back. I contacted the office and I said, hi guys, I'm Aussie and I'm living in the UK and I'm ready to go tomorrow. And they contacted me. I did the interview on the Wednesday, got told about the job on the Friday, had to fly out on the Monday. It happened that fast.
Wow.
It was only meant to be 2 months on the Pacific Dawn, and I ended up extending for another 2 months, and then I was permanent. So I was only ever meant to be a relief, and I stayed out permanently after my first contract.
So it really was one of those little like sliding doors moments that we had through our lives that you hadn't seen that ad, that you wouldn't be sitting here today.
That's it.
At the pinnacle of your career.
Oh my goodness, I'll tell you what. Oh, I'm so happy right now. This is one of the moments I'm like, wow, where did it all go right? Thank you so much. I'm so honoured.
Thank you. Okay, so here you are, you're cruise director with P&O Australia. Now, back to those shows on board. So we've got your journey, those shows on board where everybody loves the behind the scenes stuff. So what life is like as a cruise director. Now I know a little bit about this, but because I've seen so many shows with cruise directors telling me how their life is on board. But if I was to, this is an interesting question, but it just gives a character trait. Now we've gone through your career journey, but if you were to write a book titled How to Be a Cruise Director, what would the first chapter be about?
The dinner walk.
Well, that's an answer I wasn't expecting.
No.
Okay.
You're going to ask me, what is the dinner
Well,
walk?
I didn't think I needed to, but what is the dinner walk?
The dinner walk is something that basically, it doesn't matter what day you're having, what you're personally going through. It may have missed a port, it may be rough seas, it might, something, like I said, behind the scenes is going on. It does not matter.
Yeah.
Once you leave your room and you're making your way to dinner, you're leaving the theatre, making your way to dinner, you stop and you say hello and you smile and you speak to every single person that stops you, regardless of where you need to go, how you need to get there and what time restraint. So we call it the dinner walk because at the start of the cruise, the dinner walk is very easy. By day 3, it will take you a good 45 minutes to get from the theatre to dinner. And you say hello to everybody, and that would be, you need to be a people person. And you need to be able to squash whatever's going on, because it's not about me. The cruise isn't about me. It is about the guests we have on board and their experience and being part of their memories. I remember the cruise directors on the Fairstar and remember them by name and how they made me feel every time I saw them. And I'm like, there is no way I'm not going to treat every single person that I come across the same way. It's like, because I know that memory lasts. It's like a photograph, it lasts.
You know, you just got to remember, as any customer service position, that the person standing before you now is not the sum of your day. You know, no matter what day you've had, that person gets that fresh smile. So I totally get that. So the dinner walk, you know what, you should write a book.
I can't wait to write a book. I should use this time.
It?
Oh, very much so. My sister's big on me. I'm sussing out chapters as we speak.
Well, there's chapter 1.
So
I wrote it for you.
There we go, the dinner walk.
I like it. No, look, that's legitimately, it actually would be a good book.
Yeah. I've got a lot of stories.
Had you written it before, I could have read it and have helped this interview immensely.
It's okay. It's giving me ideas. So it will come out. I will do it. I have to do it.
Yeah,
My dad will be very upset if I don't do it. So it has to be done.
So, ZOLTINA J, life on board is obviously a unique experience. And, you know, we as passengers don't see what goes on behind the scenes. So this is what everyone's interested in.
Okay.
I know they are. So just let's start with your day. Everyone sees the cruise director. You just mentioned the dinner walk, you know, the walking around, but all this stuff that goes on behind the scenes. So on a typical sea day, what time do you start? What time do you get up?
Normally around 7 o'clock in the morning.
That's later than I thought, to be honest.
Yeah, that's good.
But you've worked late the night before, I suppose.
That's it, yeah. So you normally finish around 11, 12 at night.
Okay, it's a long day. Very long day. Okay, so first thing, do you run through because I know you normally film the morning show the day before, so do you then run through with your staff?
Sometimes we have meetings first thing in the morning. A lot of the time it could be just an actual meeting with the hotel director or executive committee. Then we all meet up in the office. Then it's like an announcement going through the daily program for the next day. And then doing your activities, keeping people informed, doing your swanning, as we call it. So
and that is important.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you do the morning walks? Do you do?
I used to. I used to. Back in the day, used to be walk a mile with a smile.
I like it.
Yeah. So I used to be out there, but the problem with that was everyone would walk a mile and they'd walk, and I'd be out there going, I want to walk.
Yeah, really walk.
Yeah. So I stopped doing that because I'm like, no one could keep up with me. I made it an activity that you had to keep up with me. If you kept up with me, you got a prize. But
what was the prize?
It was like a luggage tag or something.
Yeah. So, people love those prizes. A chip on a stick or a whatever, stubby holder.
Tag, stubby holders.
They will kill to get them.
Oh, they're great. They're gold.
They are gold. Okay, so it's a long day. You know, it's a long day. I can appreciate that. And when you're closing down, doing the outro, if you like, from the show, the evening show, we're now talking, 10 o'clock at night. and you've still got that beaming smile on you. Yeah. So some days, I imagine there are challenges that happen that really tip you over the edge, and you've got to keep that smile on. So, can you think of something that's maybe something's gone wrong, like one of those real stories where you just turned the whole day around to be a fantastic day where no one even knew what went on behind the scenes?
Yeah, there was, was it last year before? We had I joined the ship, so I was transshipping from one to another. And the day I joined, I found out that we had 3 cast members leave the ship, and it was just through two injured themselves.
Oh, yeah, it can happen, yeah.
One had a family emergency, all like a perfect storm. Everything happened at once. So we were scrambling to get more guest entertainers and also get 2 other singers from another ship come out, because that ship was in dry dock at the time. So they could only come out to Port Vila, and Port Vila was our first port of call, 3 days out at sea. Now, the problem was there was a storm a-brewing, and we had to change the itinerary around. And it looked like Port Vila, they were going to close the airport, so the guest entertainers we had all scheduled to join us looked like they weren't going to come out, and we were going another day, arriving late into Vila. So we had no more entertainment on board, and I mean no more. Now, I can pull out entertainment and be able to put a show on, but it was a struggle. So
we're talking production.
We're talking about
stuff like the actual
everything. So we had 2 guest entertainers, but we couldn't put any production shows on because we didn't have enough singers for it. We had 1 singer, and we had our iconic rock show. And I'm with the entertainment department. I'm literally just in my swivel chair, spinning around, going, "Guys, we need to come up with something." And I'm like, "I think we can do the rock show, but you're not going to like what I'm going to say." And they're like, "Okay." I said, "How about we get one of our musicians who plays solo guitar? I'm sure he knows all the stuff. How about we get him in?" And they're like, "Oh," I said, "How about we just get him to sing?"
To sing and dance?
Just to sing. I said, "Let's just get him to sing. Maybe we'll get some more musicians in, make it, because it's a rock show, lends itself to it." Anyway, long story short, he ended up doing the show, and you would never have guessed that there was a reblock or anything like that for it. A reblock means we transition the show to fit what we have. And it killed. It was absolutely amazing, and it was one of those ones where I'm pulling my hair out.
Yeah.
The only time I can really remember going, "I've got nothing left now."
And the passengers are none the wiser.
Oh, they loved it.
That's the beauty of your job. It's making magic happen.
It really is. Magic moments.
Magic moments. So, on board, covered that a little bit, but what does a port day actually mean for you? Is it
sleep? Lots of sleep.
I know. So, I mean, if you miss a port, of course, then you've suddenly got to come up with all these,
Normally I pick up the phone when we get that call, and I don't even say hi. I pick it up and go, "No."
Because you kind of get an inkling it's coming, right?
Yep, no, it's coming.
But you'd have a backup.
Always got a
backup plan, redundancy, if you like, ready to go.
Yeah, we kind of get a little bit of a heads up sometimes that we might not be able to, so get a plan B ready just in case.
Yeah.
So we always have a plan B. We always know in the back of our heads a plan B if, heaven forbid, we miss a port of call, that we're ready to go with another program.
But now, after so many years, I imagine that that phone call becomes less and less stressful. You know how to handle it now. You're like, "Oh, no worries." I was expecting it. And So at the port day, you get generally off to some extent?
It depends, but sometimes we've got our drills. So if it's a port alongside like Port Vila, Nemea, those ones we normally have a drill in the morning, and then depending on your import manning, so there's a minimum manning of crew left on board in port for safety duties. And so if I'm not in that rotation, off we go. So we can go out
and have a few hours,
go to the beach, go to Warhorse and Port Vila.
Okay.
It's my favourite pub in Port Vila.
I was in Vila the other day, a few months ago, overnight, which was unusual.
It's great.
Stayed overnight, and that was a whole new experience, Now, sea day, port day, turnaround day. What does that mean for you?
Turnaround day, it means
lots of work.
Everybody from the office decides to come down to the ship and say hello. And my family comes on board as well.
Do they?
Yeah, family's
nice.
all in Sydney, so they all come on for lunch, and I've got little little niece, little nephews,
Yep.
so they come on board now. It means chocolate cookies and
When the ship's emptied and everyone's just,
they love
it's
it.
nice, yeah.
When little niece jumps on the piano, plays on the piano, gets that out of her system, and then they all bumble up to the pantry and have a lunch. So that means no one has to cook for the day. They get
They
to
can
see
get up
me.
there first too, can't they? Before
They,
the
they
passengers come on
can.
board.
So it's great, but it also means I can't get to McDonald's straight away. So it means I'm stuck on board and I have to have lunch with them on board instead.
Where did I
of
read
expecting
somewhere
to-
about that? That's one of the crew's favourite things to do is to
Yep.
go to McDonald's.
Yep,
And
yep.
it's not because they love the food, it's just the normalcy of it, of going off and getting,
I think that would be.
Well, the food on board is so good. But,
Food on board's
you know,
amazing, but it's just good to just sink your teeth into a Big Mac.
I get it. Later on, we'll be crossing to our good mate Peter Collar down in his promenade deck office, and he talks a little while. I won't tell you what he says, but about life when you get back home. So your contract is typically how long?
4 months.
4 months. And how long off?
2 months.
So, what is the one thing you crave the most, other than McDonald's?
Watching live sport.
Well,
Yeah, that's probably the one thing. I'm an avid, fanatical ice hockey fan and
No, I
Sydney
wasn't-
Swans supporter.
I was going to say
I
Swans.
know,
but yeah,
Swans
you
and
threw
ice
me
hockey.
again.
I know, I'm just trying
Ice hockey. So how does a girl from Manly, I mean, Sea Eagles,
Yep.
I'm all Sea Eagles
Yeah,
here,
that's
NRL,
true. Yep.
get involved with a love of the Swans and ice hockey? Oh, I suppose your time in the States.
The time in the States is the ice hockey.
Yep.
It's my brothers over in Nashville, and they've got an awesome team over there, and that's what gave me my love for
I
it.
don't associate Nashville with ice hockey.
I know, again, and then Las Vegas, where I holiday all the time,
Mm-hmm.
reside there, and they got a team 3 years ago, and so I'm an avid Golden Knights fan. So
Okay,
I love
there
the
you
ice
go.
hockey there. Again, you never think Des and hockey, but they
so
go together.
live sport. So as soon
Live sport.
as you your contract finishes, you hope it's the right season.
The right
for-
season. So
Yeah.
I was able to get a game this year, and I was able to get a game last year for the Swannies.
Yep.
So it was good going there. But you're right, I follow the Sea Eagles very loosely because it's in my blood to do so. But Mum's
That's all I
originally-
deserve this year.
No, yeah. And Mum's originally from Victoria, so I got my
Okay,
passion from
right,
AFL.
yep.
But I'm over in Penrith at the moment, so Panthers. I never thought I'd say that. Go Panthers.
Win-win. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so one of the things you get asked the most on board, I know this, is all these crazy questions you get asked by passengers. Now, over the years, I've heard a lot of these, and sometimes I think they actually could be myths. So I'll run a couple past you,
Okay.
and you tell me if they're true. So
Okay.
I heard of a story, I don't know what cruise line or where in the world, but of a passenger on embarkation day going down to guest services and complaining that they'd paid for an ocean view room and instead they had a view of the terminal car park.
It's true.
It's a true story,
It's
you reckon?
true.
Yeah?
It's true. It's true. I actually.
Have you witnessed the story?
I have witnessed it firsthand. Yep, that is actually true.
What's your answer? Wait till tomorrow?
I think I was like, what?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I know.
No. What? We're gonna move. So
Yeah, but so okay, true story.
That's true.
And I've heard stories of do the crew sleep on board?
Yep. I was asked.
Do they?
Oh, no. We get chop it in every
Yes,
morning.
that's right.
Chop it out every
Yeah.
night.
Is that your answer?
That is my answer.
So all right, what else have you been asked?
The one was, again, this is another one that's on that top 10 list. Is the pool in the is the water in the pool seawater?
Right.
And I was asked this on the Staten Dam, no word of a lie. And I said to the lady, I said, well, it is seawater, but we have a desalinization plant on board. So we take the salt out, add chlorine. But yeah, it's seawater, it comes out of the ocean. And she went, oh, that's why it's so rough. I'm like,
I haven't heard that one. That's a good one.
yep. So that's true. That's a true one as well.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Let's see. Well, what do you do with the ice carvings after they've melted? Do these stairs go up or down? Does the ship generate its own electricity?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Look at a bloody big cord.
Yeah, plug back into Sydney. That's how we get back. We follow it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love
How far above sea level are we? That really just depends on the ocean.
What deck you're on?
Yeah. So sometimes you can be under it, sometimes you're way above it. So, yeah.
Wow. So
Toilet
that's
water.
your entertainment. Toilet water?
Toilet water, is that fresh or salt water?
Does it matter? No. So ZOLTINA J, we've gone through your career journey and worked with many different cruise lines and many different nationalities. So here you are, 12 years with P&O Australia. There must be something that's kept you there. And I imagine that, I mean, it's a wonderful cruise line, but is it working with like-minded Australians that has possibly kept you there? I mean, there's so many differences between nationalities.
So many differences. When I returned to P&O 12 years ago, I said at the time, I will finish my career out here. And it's so many layers to it. It's the office. I'm not a number, I'm known by name, and I can pick up the phone.
Certainly now you are.
And I can pick up the phone and contact anybody I need to speak to. Everyone's so friendly and so real. Then on the ship, for the crew working on board, that's something you can't fake, those smiles, the hello, how are you?
For a few hours, but not for a whole week.
No, absolutely not. And that's the thing, it's genuine. And you don't get that feeling, I've never had that feeling with anywhere in the world I've been. It's so wonderful, and they're happy to be there. That's the thing, they're happy ships because the crew are happy to be there. And we're happy because of the guests we have on board. The Aussies and the Kiwis, there is nobody like us. And having a whole ship dedicated to us. In our market, we have our sport on board, we have the shows we like, we have our entertainment, but the crew understand the Aussies and Kiwis. We have such a zest for life, know how to have a great time, and we don't let anything stop us from our mission, which is to have fun. And we have a fun time on board. So it makes my job fun, makes it easier, and really gives me that, I can't wait to go back to work.
Why would you want to leave? Well, ZOLTINA J, thank you so much for coming on board today.
Thank you.
Cruise Lounge. Really do appreciate your time.
Oh, my pleasure.
And some little insights into your life, because everyone really is interested in that kind of stuff. I know I am, and I found it really insightful. So
good, thank you.
But look, we are going to go to the bar for a drink.
Excellent.
And maybe, a little chat or two there. But first of all, I wanted to cross down to Peter Collar in his office down the promenade deck behind the Chorex department. And just before I do that, I want to mention a very special award that Peter won just last week. He won Talent Development of the Year in the Global Sea Trade Awards. So it is a massive achievement. You know, out of all the people in the world teaching cruise to all the travel professionals, it's a really well-deserved award too. He works very hard, so good on you, Pete. But I did phone him earlier today to ask him a little question about his life on board, and we'll cross to him now, and then I'll see you at the bar.
Sounds good.
Once again, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Zula Juliet.
Hello, Peter's office. Tim, it's not room service. Sorry. You want me to talk about what? My contracts? Sure. Okay. Well, Tim, got a request from Tim. Since we're talking about crew life, let's talk about some of the contracts I've been fortunate to have throughout my career. My first one was 8 months long. So different crew will have different length of contract depending on what part or service they're working within the ship. My first one was 8 months when I was a fitness instructor. That's right, 30 kilos ago, my friends. This was a lot better. But anyway, they're great times. I moved as a sports director on board Crystal. That ended up being an 11-month contract because I extended it. I loved it so much. We're on a world cruise, so why would you stop halfway through? I had a month off, and then my next contract was actually 12 months because we were at a time where we were heading to Egypt, and that was my first visit, or going to be my first visit. But then, unfortunately, with 9/11, we had to turn around and go back down the west coast of Africa, which wasn't a bad thing, but of course I missed out on Egypt. Now, over the years, as I became an officer, great times. I was 4 months on and 2 months off, and a lot more manageable. So you can see the variations with the time length with crew, but it is 7 days a week. And so when you do get home, some corny things that you tend to want to do when you get home. Well, not so much corny, but my first thing was get in the car. I just wanted to go for a drive and didn't care where I went. If the traffic lights are pointing right, I'll go right. If it's left, left. I had no destination in mind. I just wanted to drive. Wind in the hair, that's where it all fell off. And the radio. Wanted to have the radio on. I just wanted to hear people speak. Because you're on board. Now, back in those days, back in my day, we had CD holders and 100 CDs, and you listen to the same music all the time. But with the radio, it's just ad lib. Hello, wonderful weather we're having in Sydney. It's 30 degrees. Hope you're enjoying your drive. Man, that was life again. You just went away from the structures and loved it. So, Tim, that's what I used to love doing when I got back on board. go for a drive and listen to the radio.
So we're at the bar. Zoltina J, it's been so amazing to hear about your life, but I think that you never quite know somebody until you've played Never Have I Ever with them.
Oh.
So we've got...
Look out.
So since this is a G-rated show thus far...
Good to know.
We
so just
have...
hang on. You drink when you... You drink when you...
If you've done it.
If you've done it, you drink. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, so this is a cruise edition, so don't worry, you don't have to switch off now. Never have I ever had 2 dinners in one night on a cruise just because you can.
Oh.
Was that 10
I just
or
spilled
2?
on myself.
I was just about to say, I'm like, you don't fit into the clothes like I do by just looking at food.
Never have I ever sworn on stage.
Believe it or not, I've never sworn on stage, and I swear like a sailor behind the scenes.
You nearly
so
said a MF, didn't you?
I swear like a sailor.
That's right.
Well,
Do you know
hang
what?
on.
Neither have I, which is surprising.
I've never been
No.
on stage, so I can't think of it.
Okay.
Never have I ever gotten motion sickness on a cruise. No, neither.
No.
Neither.
I blame the motion for my sickness, but it's not, no.
Never have I ever gotten lost on a ship.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Every new
Yeah.
ship.
I still
Those
get lost
big-
on the
big
ship.
ones, yeah.
I was walking in circles for like 5 minutes before I realised I was walking in circles.
The Queen Mary 2 was one of the ships.
Oh, that's a weird layout.
Oh,
mezzanine levels
you
and-
never want to get lost on that one.
Yeah.
You think you're forward and you're aft, and then that's it. It's another 10-minute walk.
And you'll never be found.
Well, technically, it's not a cruise ship. It's a liner.
It is
so
a liner.
Therefore, don't enter into the one.
No.
Well, too late. That's not a mistake though. Never have I ever forgotten to go to the safety drill.
Naughty! You're both naughty. You have to go to the drill.
I had to shoot the sail away.
Excuses.
Yeah, I know.
I thought it was a casual, you can turn up if you want to thing.
You are naughty. You are
Very naughty. Very
Well,
bad.
never have I ever missed a ship.
I've come close twice.
Tim.
I'm going to be drunk by then.
Well, never have I ever had a sea romance.
Oh. Here's to you.
You long lost sailor out there.
All of them. The long line of disappointments.
Cheers to that.
Call me. Still single. Call me.
Well, never have I ever forgotten my lines.
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
How many sips do I need?
Oh, jeez.
Well, so we'll show in the bloopers how many sips Tim needs to take.
I bloody well write them too.
Oh, there we go. Well, on that note, I think it's time for us to wrap up today.
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah.
I nearly finished my beer.
Thank you so much for watching, and we hope that you'll tune back next week. Thank you so much, Zoltina J,
Yeah,
for
thanks,
another
Sips.
wonderful episode.
That was really good. Really good.
Thank you very much for having me again. Don't forget to like this page and give us comments down below.
Yeah.
We love engaging with you guys, and we'll see you next week.
See you later.
Hooroo.
Cheers.
What?
Nothing. It just helps me laughing at you.
Are we recording?
Are we recording?
Cool.
Yes.
We have the most, I can't remember. Okay, sorry, I threw myself off, which we sure do.
Don't say we sure do, okay?
Fine, you looked at me. Okay.
Open your mouth.
I thought it was too blinding.
No. Well, you rehearse and learn a 4-hour opera. I struggle with a 2-minute intro, so you know.
That you wrote.
That I wrote. Okay.
Oh, it's on my jacket.
Oh, don't put that in.
The bird.
Can I? Can I?
Okay, fine.
Oh, I'm here. I'm here.
Yep.
I'm queer. Get used to it. I'm really not. I like men.
They're all right.
Contracts, but before I do that, can I just quickly mention that Peter Collar won I don't know if you knew this or not, but he won an incredible award during the week, and I can't remember what it is.
It's a great award.
Take 2. Sound effect. Yes, Tim.
Well, look,
Oh, not meant to look awkwardly down the camera, sorry.
Well, I do have a question here. Is there something we've not touched on that viewers might find insightful?
I'm still single.
That's one for the bloopers reel. Can you say it to the camera?
Still looking, still single. Doctors looking for you.
Doctors?
Yeah, that was the psychic said I was going to meet a doctor.
So you've stuck with that?
Yeah, I've stuck with it.
How many years ago was that?
5 years ago.
Jesus. Find a new psychic.
I know, that's what I
get
mean.
a doctor.
Yeah. If there's any psychics out there that would like to do a reading for me, it's going to tell me something that they actually know is going to happen. That'd be really great.
You know that is going to happen.
I need a crystal ball.
Do you want to hold your palms up?
There. Tell me.